So when you think about going back to the intelligence versus wisdom, how do you feel like that informs you and how you want to walk in the world, how you want to be in relationship? And I know I'm asking you that as a 22-year-old.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of forward thinking.
Right. That's okay. I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm just curious.
Okay. Well, I like to think that I'm an intelligent person.
Okay.
And in that sense, I just want to keep learning my whole life and just constantly processing information, because it's like brain food. I feel so good when I'm learning things.
Yeah, me too.
Like I have said before, I could be a career student if I got paid for it. But I also like to do things like physically, and that doesn't really corroborate with being a career student anyways. I like to learn, but I also love to integrate that learning into my life. Like with Dr. Lardy's lifestyle medicine stuff, you know, that was fascinating to learn about, and it's been fascinating to integrate into my life.
Sure.
And a lot of people, and this brings me to something else I was thinking, is an intelligent person will take the facts and integrate the facts like word for word, I think.
Okay.
But a wise person will listen to themselves and how they react to the words and go from there. You know, they'll still use that as like the anchor.
Okay.
But they'll shift it, 5-10% either way.
Sure.
For what feels best.
Right.
Because everyone's body is completely different,
Right.
There is no correct dosage for everyone.
Right.
So, like, that's not necessarily that I'm an incredibly wise person, but I'm trying to be a wise person. And I'm trying to listen to my body and, listen to my relationships and finding that right tune so I can integrate it as best as possible. Like with the lifestyle medicine stuff, how much do I need to exercise? How much sun do I need to get? How much sleep do I need to get based on the number that it gives me?
My Inner Knowing, empowering you to find your compass for the journey. We are dedicated to supporting you to rediscover and trust your natural ability to navigate life each day by sharing insight and experience through the lens of two professional communicators and their guests. We intend to prompt internal inquiry that supports all those willing to explore a unique path.
Well, hello.
Hi.
Surprise, this isn't Walker. This is Luke. Luke is my third child. Luke's been on with us before, but it's been about 1.5 years. Yeah. And so Luke Walker is getting ready for a trial. Trial starts tomorrow. And so Luke is stepping in today, and then my friend Nancy from outside of Boston, we met on a retreat 15 years ago, will be joining us for the next episode while Walker continues preparing and then executing his trial. So thanks, Luke, for joining me today.
Of course.
Yes. So probably a month or so ago, you and I were having a conversation around intelligence versus wisdom. And that just because you're intelligent doesn't mean that you're wise.
Yes.
And just because maybe your intelligence isn't high doesn't mean you're not wise. Yeah. So tell us more about what was on your mind and what's been on your mind since that conversation.
Well, we both know a group of people who are incredibly intelligent. They're all extremely high achievers in their respective fields. And yet them as a group and as individuals continuously make poor life choices that harm them, the people around them. And it sounds funny, but I was just playing Dungeons and Dragons, and there is a very clear difference in it between intelligence and wisdom. So that's just like the signifier that was in my brain because that's what I was doing at the time. And I had never put words to their actions before, because my entire life, we've always just said, well, they're so smart. They're so smart. But we've always known them to continuously make bad decisions. And we didn't really have a word for it. And then just because I was playing D&D, I was like, well, they're not very wise. Mm-hmm. And that's just when it really flipped a switch in my brain that you don't need to be intelligent to be wise. And just because you are intelligent doesn't mean you are wise. They're completely separate and like independent factors and skills that a person has. And they really have no relation to each other. And, you know, I've been thinking about it a good amount, but there is no like definitive, in my mind, like separation between the two. It's maybe because like in everyday language, they're so intensely tied to one another. They basically mean the same thing, but I just couldn't find a definitive, like this leads to that and this leads to that. Like one thing means wise, one thing means intelligence. But the closest I've come, I think, is how like tuned in someone is with themselves or their environment.
Okay.
Like if someone is tuned in with themselves, they'll make good choices for their body. You know, if someone's tuned in with their environment, they'll make better choices with the people around them, or, you know, just staying safe, making good decisions. But being an intelligent person doesn't necessarily lead to that. You know, you could be so wrapped up in whatever is going on inside of your brain that you don't even like recognize what's going on with yourself or with other people.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way. But it makes a lot of sense to me. So if you were going to define intelligence, what comes to you when you think about how you would define intelligence?
It's such a hard statement because like one of the things that comes to mind for me is like problem solving. Okay. But sometimes intelligent people just make more problems than they're solving. Okay. Maybe it would just be intelligence is like the speed at which their mind works. Okay. Like not necessarily, like not the speed at which their brain is going, but the speed at which they're processing things. Sure. Because there are people with very fast brains who aren't processing a lot of the information that they're trying to, I think. Sure. Well, it makes me think of what we define as like an attention deficit issue. That's what was coming to mind for me. Yeah. Like their brain may work really, really fast, but it's not integrating. It stays pretty surfacey. And there's a lot of, I don't know, disagreement about what an attention deficit issue is. But I do remember a training I went to. It was actually my first neurofeedback training, where I was talking about how I thought I had an attention issue, and but when he did the EEG, it didn't show what he would define as an attention issue. And so I was describing, you know, my experience, and he was asking me some questions, and he said, "That's not an attention issue. That's a processing. Like that's how your brain works in regards to processing, how you integrate information. Your brain works fast, but you actually can stay present with the information long enough for it to integrate." Sure. Right. Yeah. As opposed to just having a really fast brain who needs a lot of stimulation, but isn't necessarily taking in a lot of information. So then that creates a struggle for people, right? Right. Yeah. As opposed to people whose brains work fast and they're integrating information. Yeah. Right. I think Chris actually got my first exposure to that was when Chris was tested for ADHD by a computer. Oh my gosh, maybe he was 10, 11, 12, 13, I don't remember. 20 years ago? Yeah, it was a long time ago. And I remember the doctor said, oh yeah, his brain works really fast, but he comprehends 85% of what he
takes in. And so he doesn't actually have an attention issue because he's comprehending it. It just doesn't look like it. He may not act like it, but he actually is taking it in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, just throwing that out there because I think there's, again, a lot of information about what our brain is and how it processes information and the names that we give what it does.
Yes.
And it's not so clear. So.
Yeah. Naming what intelligence is incredibly difficult. And I'm sure everyone has a different opinion on it. And it's likely a valid opinion. But for me, and based on my intelligence with my brain and the people that I've experienced throughout my life, and especially in like high school and especially in university, and with like the grad students and postgraduates and the professors that I've interacted with, it's typically the people who can process quickly that stand out in their fields.
Okay. And so for you, then thinking about wisdom, going back to what you were sharing earlier, presence in any particular area that allows that person to be in themselves and in the world.
I think both are necessary.
Yeah.
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 Because like a wise professor could be, out in the front of the classroom and he has to be present of the classroom, of their mood for how he's speaking, And then he has to still be aware of the words that are coming out of his mouth and how those words might affect the class that he's about to speak them to. And that's the most effective professor, is who is constantly in tune with the environment and himself, and it's going back and forth, and that professor gets the most out of his class and gives the most to his class, rather than just a professor who could be an incredibly intelligent, informed person.
Sure.
Who's just throwing information at students.
Sure. Yeah.
But then again, that could just be social skills. And I don't know if social skills necessarily equate to intelligence.
Okay, so...
Or wisdom, my bad.
Right. Okay, now, in your experience, talk a little bit about that, the social skills versus wisdom. How do you imagine that they are potentially similar but different?
Well, similar, like it's, someone with really like high social capabilities does do what I was describing for the wisdom. They're engaging with the person. And maybe the difference is they're not engaging with themselves enough. Okay. They're just trying to get something out of the person, but not getting what they need in return. Like that could be, in my mind, the distinction between wisdom and social intelligence. Or social skills, is because someone with high social skills knows how to get stuff out of people, but might not be getting what they need in return.
Sure.
But if they're wise, they'll be able to balance their relationship. So it's a healthy mix of give and take.
Okay. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of, is reciprocity. You can have high social skills. It doesn't mean that it's reciprocal, right? That the energy is necessarily flowing both ways. You've just learned how to engage, essentially. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. There was something I was thinking about when you were talking earlier. Using professors as examples. I know in the time that you were at KU, there were different professors that you really felt like, held that space. And so obviously Dr. Alardi, who we've had on the podcast, but who else do you remember standing out as wise?
Dr. Majid, who was my Arabic anthropology studies professor, he was a wise man.
What about him?
He was a Moroccan man. He was Muslim, and he was teaching about Islam. And it's such a stigmatized religion in our country.
Yeah.
But he is so incredibly aware of that, but does not feel shame for who he is. But he like still holds the space for like helping people through their stigma.
Oh, sure.
He doesn't just shut it down and be like, no, that's not correct.
Right.
Or he doesn't try and run from the things that are correct, but are shameful in Western societies. You know, and he really tries to explain that fact that there is a difference in culture and how people view the world between Western and Eastern societies or Middle Eastern societies. It's like, what we view as right, 95% of the people over there have a different view. And they might view like how we interact with their beliefs as wrong.
Sure.
The same way that we do for theirs. So like he would explain stuff like that from his perspective, but integrate it well with our perspectives. And he wouldn't shut us down. And he would just explain and listen and then explain and listen. And he would just keep going back and forth. But he was listening and he was explaining and he was using his breadth of experience to do it. And he wasn't just throwing big words at you.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. It makes me think about a guest that we had on last year. Her name was Linda Howard. And she's coming back on, I think in November or December. And she's an attorney. She practiced in the Northeast and actually spends time in Morocco working on her, developing herself and more in regards to, you know, being a Muslim. So, yeah, really interesting. I'm sure your class was interesting.
It was amazing class. I went in just because it seemed interesting, but I probably learned more from that class than I did almost any other anthropology course.
Interesting.
Even though I had absolutely no attachment to the area studied before going in. I had never, in my anthropology degree, studied Middle Eastern society or culture.
Sure.
But I learned. So, like, literally on the first day, he said, who here had taken these classes? And I was, like, the only person in the class who didn't raise his hand.
Oh, okay.
Because I really just, I didn't even know that there were, like, requested prerequisites. But because it was so engaging, I caught up so quickly.
Oh, good. That's funny. I didn't know there was. Oh, so like he requested that people have certain prerequisites to be in his class.
He didn't require them, though.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that they could hopefully be more engaged in the class. Gotcha. But you hadn't taken those. But he was. Yeah,
I didn't even open the course description when I chose the class. So I didn't.
Gotcha.
He even requested it.
Gotcha. Okay. But an effective professor. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Anybody else stand out as somebody that you felt like was a wise professor?
There are a couple. Not to the level of Majid or Alardi, though.
Yeah.
They are. Those two were just, every time I went into the class, I was enthralled. I had another one who was, I would say, like right up there with them is Brent Metz.
Oh,
Dr.
sure.
Brent Metz.
Yeah, I have met him.
Yeah. He had a much bigger classroom than Majid or Alardi, so his give and take was much, and it was a lot of freshmen too.
Oh, okay.
Because this was an introductory level course, 5 years ago at this point.
Okay.
But even with probably almost 400 people in the classroom, I still think he did a great job at reading the classroom and then giving the information in a way that was digestible.
Okay, great.
Well, and it was hard information too, hard for people to accept because it was so visceral and real, about how ancient civilizations and ancient cultures and more Aboriginal cultures still are today.
Interesting.
They're so against what we deem as correct in Western society. It's hard for a lot of people in the classroom because it's their first exposure to it.
Sure.
But I think he did a good job walking the line.
Okay. Would those people be people that you also think we would enjoy having on our podcast?
The people who are struggling?
No.
Majid and Brent Metz? Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be different because they're anthropologists and not psychologists.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, I mean, you do have a lot of not weird. Well, it's not weird, but different people on this podcast.
We have a variety because we think a variety is...
I think it's good.
Is good.
Then yes, both of them would be good. Brent Metz for sure is still at KU. I know Majid transferred universities like a year ago.
Okay.
So I have no idea where he is now.
Zoom is a real thing. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's how we interviewed Dr. Lardy, was by Zoom, even though he's in Lawrence, because he's a busy man.
He's a busy man. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Have you ever felt confused or overwhelmed in relationships? Theresa and I have come up with a free mini course that we think will really help you out with a lot of the common relationship experiences so that you can improve your communication skills with all of the people in your life and really make a change for the better.
Yeah, we really believe that everybody deserves the opportunity to learn healthy relationship skills so that we can get through life having a good, healthy relationship experience. So click the link, put your email in, you'll get the PDF, spend a few hours working on it, and please let us know what your experience is. We know it will benefit you in some way. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought that one was pretty good.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Check.
So when you think about going back to the intelligence versus wisdom, how do you feel like that informs you and how you want to walk in the world, how you want to be in relationship? And I know I'm asking you that as a 22-year-old.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of forward thinking.
Right. That's okay. I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm just curious.
Okay. Well, I like to think that I'm an intelligent person.
Okay.
And in that sense, I just want to keep learning my whole life and just constantly processing information because that makes it's like brain food. I feel so good when I'm learning things.
Yeah, me too.
Like I have said before, I could be a career student if I got paid for it. But I also like to do things like physically, and that doesn't really corroborate with being a career student anyways. I like to learn, but I also love to integrate that learning into my life. Like with Dr. Lardy's lifestyle medicine stuff, you know, it was fascinating to learn about, and it's been fascinating to integrate into my life.
Sure.
And a lot of people, and this brings me to something else I was thinking, is an intelligent person will take the facts and integrate the facts, like word for word, I think.
Okay.
But a wise person will listen to themselves and how they react to the words and go from there. You know, they'll still use that as like the anchor.
Okay.
But they'll shift it, 5-10% either way.
Sure.
For what feels best.
Right.
Because everyone's body is completely different,
Right.
There is no correct dosage for everyone.
Right.
So, like, that's not necessarily that I'm an incredibly wise person, but I'm trying to be a wise person. And I'm trying to listen to my body and, listen to my relationships and finding that right tune so I can integrate it as best as possible. Like with the lifestyle medicine stuff, how much do I need to exercise? How much sun do I need to get? How much sleep do I need to get based on the number that it gives me?
Right. So for you, learning to take information, experiment with it so that you're learning what's best for you and your body at this time.
Yeah. And I, tying it to research, because I know that there are people out there who would struggle like rationalizing, breaking away from the research and like modifying it for yourself. But the research just gives you the average or the mean.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But there are thousands of people who culminate to make that average, and every single one of them had a different number that fit best for them. That's not explicit, like it is explicit in the research,
Right.
but no one's reading the whole research, looking
Not
at
many.
all the data tables,
Right.
seeing that, oh, that number works for me too.
Right.
But that person's 1 out of 1,000.
Sure.
And everyone's 1 out of 1,000.
Right.
And not everyone, like there are a couple people who fit the mean, but they are just as many as, someone who's 5% off from the mean.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not exactly. I'm not a statistician,
Right.
but there are differences.
Well, sure, absolutely. And I think about research is so helpful and it informs us so much. And if we take it so literally, even the researcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we can still miss helping ourselves or helping others if we don't remember that the data is spread over a wide period. I remember when you broke your leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you broke it through 2 growth plates.
Yes.
And the doctor who created the study that determined your completed height by the size of your hand, and I don't remember his name.
I don't either.
But I know that I was concerned about because you were still so young when it happened, that your one leg would be significantly shorter than the other.
Mm-hmm.
That was my concern.
Yeah.
And I remember him, continuing to tell me not to worry about it, that he had done the test, that you were pretty much done growing. Were you 5'10"?
I was probably 5'10" and I was 14.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so, and I remember like showing him a picture of you standing next to Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I don't know that applies to my son because this one,
Chris grew till he was 25. Yeah.
He didn't stop growing for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
He was still growing. He's 8 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
He still was growing when I was 14.
Yeah. And I remember the doctor saying, well, I'm not going to bet you the farm, but I'm pretty much going to bet you the farm that Luke's done growing.
I do remember him saying.
Yeah.
I think that's word for word, actually.
Right. And you're 6'3"?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'3".
And my legs miraculously ended up down to the millimeter, the same length, because my left leg, which I broke, was longer, and now it is the exact same length. Mm-hmm. So that's serendipitous.
Yeah. It did all work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just remember thinking we have to consider the outliers too,
That's, yes. When I talk about statistics and like biomedical research, it reminds me of this biology seminar I had freshman year. And we were just going over research the entire semester, presenting different research and discussing it. And I had a presentation and I was talking to my professor who led the seminar. And I was like, but what about these patients? And I don't remember the exact details. But they were, a significant outlier group. Well, he said, well, the research just accounts for them. They're so few that it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And in my mind, I'm like, well, they do matter.
Right.
But I understand what he meant. For the mean, for the research, they don't matter. But they still exist.
Well, they exist and they absolutely matter for that individual person.
Yeah.
Right? Which
the disclosure of the fact that there are significant outliers is important because not only for that individual person, but the other individual people who are not one of those 1,000 people.
Right.
Because 1,000 people is
1,000 people.
And not very many people
Right.
in the grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things,
so there are
it is not.
out of, if there are 1,000 people, there are 1,000,000 people like that in the world.
Well, sure.
Who are not relating to the average, but are very real people.
Yeah. And I think about even, what part of the country is the research being done?
Right? Or what country.
Or what country, or what age are the people, right? Like there's so many things that impact outcomes. Yeah. So looking at the research, and I think that's the both and, which is so difficult for us, is this can be true and this can be true, right? Which we don't tend to like that.
Yeah, dichotomous thinking is, well, that's a bit different. But yeah, I know what you mean. Having two things in your brain at the same time.
Yeah. Is that dialectical?
I think it would be dialectical, because dichotomous is like, it has to be this way or it has to be this. No, that would be dichotomous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can't be two things. It has to be this or that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So any other thoughts that you have about the intelligence and wisdom? Like for you going forward, what do you want to, I don't know, hold for yourself? How do you think you'll keep that top of mind for you as you continue exploring the world?
Well, something I've done my entire life, especially like in middle school and high school, was just observe. I was very like socially absent, I guess. So I would watch other people. So I've gotten pretty good, especially because I've been very social in college, at like combining those two aspects of myself and really reading the people that I'm interacting with. And I just want to keep getting better at that, because like I think I'm decent at it, but there is so much room to grow, especially if I'm going to go into counseling, the athletic counseling. And there are so many walls that I'll need to be able to help people break down for people. And I need to do that by being able to tune in with them. So I'm just going to keep practicing, I guess, being a better friend, being a better stranger, being a better partner.
Yeah. Work that never ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was something else that you said, earlier about if you could be a student forever. I think you can be a student forever and not be in college forever.
That's true. Yeah, because I'm like on the tail end of finishing my third bachelor's, and there's just not a lot of, not even close to as much information being thrown at me. So, my brain will just get like foggy if I'm not getting all that information. So I've just started reading research on my own, and that's just something I'll be doing my entire life, constantly. Being a student, even if it's just, self-led, as long as it is actual, published information, not necessarily that it has to be published. There's always stuff to learn from a bunch of other people.
Always.
But right now, my framework is still student. My framework for my entire life has been student. So that's something I also need to work on, is branching out, allowing my intelligence to, go frolic in some other fields, because I've, been smelling one type of flower my entire life.
Yeah. What kind of flower would that be?
Well, what's a very standard flower? Just a rose?
Sure.
I don't know. I don't think most people would want to compare schooling to roses.
I don't know.
Maybe they would, because they have thorns.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I think, I graduated from graduate school 19 years ago. I don't think I've ever stopped being a student. We're required to get 20 continuing education hours a year, and I probably get 80, 100, some years more than that. And that's just the things I keep track of. I mean, one of the things that I like about this profession is that if we want to, we can always learn other ways to help somebody, other ways to connect with somebody, to be, I don't know, more informed about, different ways of living, kind of like your Arabic anthropology class was, right? Recognizing that even if it seems so different from how we choose to live, that there's nothing wrong about it. It's just we all need different things in order for us to try to feel safe, valued, seen, loved, appreciated.
And that's wise
Mm-hmm.
to allow yourself to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even though I think in our family systems that can feel threatening to tradition or, I guess tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Catholic because I was born Catholic, because my parents were born Catholic.
Because their parents were born Catholic.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to, is it okay? I mean, I don't consider myself any particular thing right now. I believe and experience a lot of different ways of being connected to what some people call God, And to me, it's about what I remember when Chris was in high school and he was struggling so much with grades. And I remember for me this particular day where I chose to shift my focus as a parent. Because when I was growing up, you just went to college. That's what you were supposed to do. Like, there wasn't any question about it. You just did. And so for me, the focus became grades, though. And maybe because I struggled in high school and college. I didn't have great grades. I did fine in graduate school, but I didn't necessarily have great grades in high school or my undergrad. But I put a lot of focus on it initially, and I know you didn't get much of that just because by the time you were around that age, I had shifted, because Chris is 8 years older than you.
What do you mean I didn't get much of that?
For me. For me. So when Chris was in high school, I made a shift to what the most important thing to me as a parent is that you are a kind, compassionate, contributing member of society. That's what became most important to me.
Yeah.
So realizing that, if you guys could have varied experiences, meet different people, explore different things, experiment, is how I think about it. That you would, find what you love doing, because that, to me, is what's most important. Yeah. And I want you to be wise. Oh, I know what I was thinking earlier. I remember when I took the mindfulness-based stress reduction course that was developed, I think, by John Kabat-Zinn, and this has been a while. And you may have seen this, but as part of the training, there was a video where he's speaking in front of a group of people, and he has people come out on the stage, and like half the people have white t-shirts and half people have black t-shirts. Have you seen that video?
I don't think so.
And so what he tells, the group is to count, and I don't remember exactly, but count how many times the people in the white t-shirts throw the basketball back and forth to each other. And so people are really focused on counting. And so the exercise ends and he asks the group, okay, so how many times did they pass the ball? 12, 13, 8, whatever, all these numbers. And then he asks the group, so how many people saw the gorilla come out on stage?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen that one. Right.
I was like, is this going to be the gorilla video?
Right, it is a gorilla video, right? And it's such a fantastic video because one of the things, for me it is, because it is really that ability to hold our focus and keep this wide lens at the same time, right? And that's really what he was teaching, is that we're so focused on how many times the ball gets passed back and forth between the people with the white t-shirts. We literally don't see the
wise
gorilla.
person is very perceptive to the world around them.
Very perceptive to the world around them. And it was shocking. I remember when he went back and played the video to the group, and you see a gorilla come out, like jump up and down, and then keep walking off stage, and people didn't even see it, right? So I think we can walk through the world a lot that way. So, yeah. So being wise, being able to hold focus and hold the wider lens. So I would say, just that ability to be focused and
Still
aware.
present.
Present and aware, it's a good goal. And I think the people that are trying to do the work realize how difficult it is to get there, but that you can, over time, develop that skill.
It feels good when you recognize that you are actively doing it.
Yeah. I'm in this right now, doing this, right? I can observe myself in this process right now. Yeah. Any other final thoughts?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Well, thanks for having the conversation. And just because I forgot to mention this earlier, we are sitting on the floor because the podcast studio is in transition. We're actually moving to a different space in the building, and the table's gone, and the chairs are gone, and so we're sitting on back jacks here on the floor. And so, thanks, Luke, for not only stepping in for Walker today, but also sitting on the floor.
It's been fun.
Yeah, good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to explore life with you. We encourage curiosity, self-growth, and we strive to be more compassionate every day.